Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Twitch Monster 27 here on KMR exclusive. This is episode 4. We have with us former KMR Cup Series drivers, Spheric Rope, Superman Spheric Rope. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Be sure to include your audio because we want to make sure everybody hears what you got to say today.
Yeah, I made sure to do that.
We've had myself, we've had Speedy, we've had Fractured, all interviewed. Now it's your turn to just kind of break down your stint in KMR. Man, how did you join the league? How did you find out about KMR?
I'm pretty sure the first race that I actually had with you guys was like it was a long time ago, obviously, but I'm pretty sure I was just looking through random lobbies in NASCAR 14. I was like, here's a relatively full lobby. I'll join these guys. And then it kind of, I guess you would say, it spiraled from there. You know, I friended all y'all,
Yeah.
and then I just started racing with you guys more, and then I just got pulled into all that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely, man. Do you remember, let's see. So, what were your thoughts about the league when you first joined?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I've always been into NASCAR, like, you know, when I was... How long ago was this cookie when we actually did this? I'm trying to remember now.
2015,
this is like,
oh my gosh.
2014, 20, you know.
yeah, this is
around
like
there.
6 years ago. So I was still in that time where I was like, I'm gonna be a NASCAR driver. So I was like, this is my opportunity to realize my dreams, essentially. that was pretty much how I thought about it. I was like, I can realize my dreams and be a NASCAR driver, even if only in spirit.
That's cool. That's really cool. So your very first race when you loaded in, I remember where it was. It was Homestead.
Yeah, it was.
How much do you remember? I could go about what I remember out of that race, but what do you remember out of your first race there at Homestead?
I feel like I remember riding the wall a lot. That's the thing that I remember the most, is just riding the wall a lot.
Riding the wall a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know
No.
you ever rode the wall there, so that's good to know.
Oh,
you
no,
know.
what was that, actually, and I'm thinking about riding the wall. I'm trying to remember, Cookie, you remember that one race where you wrecked me, like, on the final corner and pushed me across you for the finish, so I got first place in that race? Remember that?
I think that was that wasn't Auto Club because you
No.
won that race.
That was, it was Michigan.
Spirit
It
did
was
get
Michigan.
DNF'd in that Auto Club race.
I did get DNF'd, but
No, but
it
he
was
coasted.
Michigan.
I think he
You
coasted across the
Rat
line.
Rod
Oh, yeah.
was stopped. Rat Rod was stopped.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Michigan, though, right, that race?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
No,
Cookie
I know.
was probably in
I
the
think
bushes,
it was
but
Auto Club, actually. Now that I think about it. I think it was another Auto Club race that happened on. But no, that was... I just remember how mad you were about that. That's what I really remember from that. You were so mad.
Well, I do remember the Homestead race very fondly. You were in the 54 Toyota, and yeah, you know, it was your debut race. It was the White Hammer's debut race. Remember, he was Casey Jordan.
Yeah.
Who else debuted in that?
that was, I think, I want to say, was that my first race?
Was Destroyer in
first
that?
full season? I don't know if that was it.
I thought the
No,
show
that
I
was
think
like
that was
my
your
third-
first full.
That was my second or third season, actually.
Second, because
I
yeah,
was
it was
teammates
me,
with
you.
Hammer. He was in the 7, I was in the 9, I think.
Right. Because that was we were battling with Team Trace in
Yeah.
in that battle. Yeah. So yeah, I do remember. What I remember most fondly was that I needed to finish in the top 3 or 5 to win the championship. Final restart. And I remember the 54 coming down across my nose, and I remember going and hitting in the inside pit wall down there and tearing up the car.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. I remember that a little bit. I remember a little bit of that. Sounds a
Everything's
little
great.
familiar.
Everything's great.
Yeah, you know, I was a monster that race. I wasn't a cookie. I was
Yeah.
not
Like
softer.
talking about
cuddly at
interesting
all.
races, though, I feel like most of our most interesting races were definitely on the short tracks, though, because stuff like Daytona and like I think was it Pensacola or something like that. They were always just like, yeah, just gonna drive around for the next like 2 hours, But nothing really exciting is gonna happen most of the time there.
NASCAR 14 under caution.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about next.
Yeah, but
How did you come up with KMR under caution? Let's talk about
Michigan. I
Oh,
remember
yeah,
it very
that
well.
was me, wasn't it? Right?
It was
I'm pretty
Michigan.
sure.
Yeah, KMR under caution.
Yeah,
So
it was either Michigan or another short track, but it was. I think
It was-
It was Michigan.
It was either the.
well, I don't know.
first-
Indianapolis was bad.
It
too.
was that
it
whole
was
night.
the first or second
Yeah.
corner of like at least every other lap, and
Caution.
somebody would either spin out or hit someone up into the wall, and after a while, it just started becoming a meme. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, all right, well, guys, welcome back to NASCAR 14 under caution. Here with Cookie Monster down with the car. looking for an interview here.
Yeah.
How's your race going today? You having fun out there?
The best
Oh
interview you
yeah,
ever
driving
gave.
at 70 miles per hour is very fun.
The best one you ever gave was that it was NASCAR 14 under caution. At Michigan, you're like, Cookie man, how about them bushes that you saw you hit them? They're pretty hard. How's the car handling? Cookie's like, man, shut up.
Yeah, I got that brokety motor over there.
Oh,
Yes. Yes. Man, I tell you what, we had some good laughs back in the day, man. We really did have some good laughs because stuff like that, you can't make it up, man. It was
Yeah, no, you don't script that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it was very, man.
Yeah.
We still talk about that.
What?
Like we'll be sitting in parties, Fractured, myself, Speedy. We'll all be sitting there chatting, and we'll talk about some of the stuff you would say or some of the stuff we'd be doing. Like the brokety motors, and that's become a meme too. Like when stuff happens, that's the first thing you say. How's your stuff? Oh, it's brokety. We had a brokety motors, brokety rotors. Where we had to
they were on
actually
top
kill
of
the car.
I always remember how it would be like, you tap the wall once and you get like a slightly damaged rotor. You go into the pit 3 different times, doesn't fix it. You completely destroy it, blow a tire, go into the pit. Oh, yeah, don't worry, Chief. We managed to figure it out, fix the problem for you. Excuse me?
Yeah.
You couldn't fix like one
It
scratch?
wasn't damaged enough. It wasn't damaged enough earlier. You had to really tear it up. We're trying to save money over here.
Yeah, we think you just tear it up some more, so we're going to wait a little while for you.
So under caution, you got people literally slamming up against the wall, trying to break the car so it gets fixed.
I know
that is
a lot of
actually
people
true,
getting-
though. Like we would actually break our cars
A
just to
lot
get
of
them
people
fixed
would break
more.
their engines just to fix that rotor. It's just the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. All right, so do us a favor. Take us through a season that you think was your best one. If you can remember a complete season, which one do you think was your best one?
I mean, honestly, one of the closer ones to like when we were like, getting ready to not shut the league down, but like stop racing on NASCAR 14, like it was just like, because at that time we had finally found like a group of people that were at least semi-serious about the game.
Yeah.
But pretty
Yeah,
much what it was just like those seasons, like, I don't know, because they were actually like competitive. You didn't have people like Ice Fighter in there who just randomly, just in the middle of the race, just turn around. Actually, do you remember that when he did that? When he just turned around and went the opposite way down the track?
I think I do remember that. I don't remember what race that was, but I think I do remember that. It was like, what are you doing? You got to go.
I don't remember who it was,
wait,
but
you got to
somebody,
go.
we were all just racing, and somebody just keys up their mic and goes, who is going backwards? And Cookie's like, somebody's going backwards. We all look down in the map. We're like, oh my lord, who's going backwards?
Yeah, I don't. What did we do like when that situation? I don't remember
straight
if
up
we
kick.
restarted.
Oh,
the
he
race.
was moved.
Oh yeah.
I think he was removed.
Yeah, he was
I don't
removed.
think
But
we
I'm trying
restarted.
So I'm trying to remember if we took anyone out or not. Because we couldn't like remove him
I
mid-race.
think we all channeled our avoidance skills and were able to.
Wait, no,
avoid.
actually, I think that reminds me. I think during one of those, we had that I can't remember what track it was, but it was a big wreck. It was like pretty much like every car. We all piled up, and I just like pretty much. I was at the back of the pack and managed to somehow avoid my way through everything on the track. It's sort of like that, that like that first seat in Cars.
Yeah, bud.
That's exactly what that
Yeah.
reminded me of right there. Yeah, Bristol.
Was it Bristol?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bristol was always a
yeah.
Bristol was always a rough race for
'Cause-
the league when we got there.
Yeah.
No one anticipated going to Bristol. I mean, it was
Well,
like,
no,
oh,
we all knew about it, but
I
I
was
was wanted to go there.
I was restarting third. I don't remember who was on the pole, but they spun their tires and like everybody just boom, and all of a sudden I got flames coming out of the motor. It's like yay!
Yeah.
God Almighty.
Nah,
But I will say
that
this, Rope.
happened all the time though. On the restarts.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
just
oh,
spin tires
another
in the
track.
entire field to just hit into that first guy.
Dover was bad for that.
Yeah, it
Dover was
was.
very bad for that. And there was another track. It was a 2-mile track or a 1.5-mile track where you got ready to get in it. And what was it? Was it Kentucky? Well, no, it wasn't Kentucky. Was it? It was Atlanta, I believe. Was it another one where when you went to go get on it on a restart, especially if you didn't pit and you going on old tires, you got on it hard. You were gonna whip that thing around.
Yeah. I still remember
you-
a lot of those like late race situations where it's just like, nah, I'm not gonna pit. And then on the restart, it's just like, well, I guess I'm like gonna lead for maybe a quarter lap.
and
then all
you
these
get
fresh
swallowed
tires
up and in the
behind
back.
me, you just well, no, unless you were like someone. I think like Whitehammer was always good at racing on old tires though. Like he was really good at that.
In the chase.
Yeah, he was also good at before you could get to turn 1. He was the leader after restarting in the back because he jumped to the bottom of the track and just blow past everybody.
Well, there was someone else who did that. They would like sit like a quarter turn behind and then just like had perfect timing to be able to just like be going at like full speed by the time we were like so raring up to go.
Sounds like something Annihilator would do. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of. Actually, I still remember Rat Rod. That guy could just make fuel last forever.
Yeah, but the thing about Rat Rod was that was the only way he could win.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a situation where he was going to beat you on speed. It was like if he didn't beat you on fuel, he's finishing last.
Yeah, so if there was like a late,
And-
if there was a late pit, then he was kind of like, so pretty much anything that wasn't like Daytona.
He was he was one of them guys where I mean like the epiphany of like one of the best drivers to not win a championship. Like that dude made dominated every race the regular season off his fuel, and then he goes to the chase and
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Well,
it was
because
pretty rough.
I remember he was like, I'm trying to think did I ever actually get beat at Kentucky? Because that was my track.
No.
really early. I think I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember you going there because we didn't go to Kentucky often. But when we did go and you were there, you were able to win. If it wasn't you, it was Hammer getting the win because I do remember that because Hammer was probably the only other person to beat you because I remember losing a championship at Kentucky. So yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you know.
but I feel like I don't know about you guys, what your like best track was, but for me, I think without a doubt, we could all say it was definitely Kentucky for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you remember Rope? Do you remember that season? I think it was probably the last season of N14, and it was you, me, and Rat Rod in the top 3 fighting for a championship. You remember that? You were so shocked at yourself. You were like, I don't understand how I couldn't do this before, but you were you won more than Kentucky. You won like 3 or 4 races that season.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't really remember what tracks they were though, if I'm being honest.
I don't either.
Yeah, but no, I
do know you
yeah,
won.
but it was like I was on fire that season though.
Yeah, you were.
I don't
it was an epic battle.
think I won that though.
No, you didn't. I won that. I beat Rat Rod. That was his last season in KMR because I beat him by 1 point, and then the next season we went to go qualify. He spazzed out and left.
Oh, did he?
I just think he. Yeah, I just think he had
I
it.
think it was what was his name? But that one guy, he had like 4 other people who joined us, but then they all left because the
Kevin
prize you would
Harvick
give wasn't good enough. I'm trying to remember what his name was.
Oh no! Was that iRush? That was
Yeah,
iRush.
iRush Fusion, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, because like I remember him and his crew. He had like 4 other people with him, but then, well, I think he didn't have a crew with him, but he took like 4 or 5 people with him because I guess the prize wasn't good enough from what I remember you telling me at the time.
Yeah, I don't
But
know
I'm
what
like,
lame excuse he came up with, but
I don't know what he was expecting realistically. Like in hindsight, it's like, what does he expect you to give? It's like, this isn't like, iRacing where there's like 50 people, 100 people competing to, win like a grand championship here. You know what I'm saying?
with actual sponsorship and
But yeah,
actual,
with actual
people,
sponsors, with actual like people
yeah,
watching.
like,
Everyone's watching us. No one's sponsoring us. What do you want?
it's like hold up. This is NASCAR 14. Wake up. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I'm not rich. So we're gonna play this Xbox 360 game, and we're gonna make the best of it.
Yeah. Personally, I was never really in it for like to win money. It was just a fun thing to do every Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, I guess I have to say that because I never actually won a championship. So I guess I have to say that in hindsight.
Well, I mean, we'll get to that in a second because I do want to ask you about that. But let me ask you another question, or here's a statement. Tell us about some of your greatest moments or achievements you think you had in KMR through your whole stint.
Like probably my greatest achievement is just my ability at Kentucky. But like one of the greatest moments either was that when I was talking that definitely probably like the greatest moment was on Michigan where we had everyone because it was like 2 laps for a restart and you just pushed me across the finish line after I like blew out my motor arc. I think I went up into you, blew my motor on the wall, and you pushed me across the finish line.
It was something like that. I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably one of like the best moments that we've had.
Yeah, I tell you were able to put together. I think one of the most defining moments was when you was able to put together that run in that last season, and to be fighting for the top 3. I just wish that you would have been able to, because I don't think you had N15, so it was like once 14 was over, that was it.
Well, because you guys also moved on to Forza as well, and I just couldn't buy the game.
Yeah, and it was like, man, if Rote would have continued racing, what would it have been like? But I think that was, to see you to have more than 1 win in a season was like awesome. It was an awesome achievement from what that I saw. It was like, oh yeah,
Because it was really weird though.
Rope is coming.
I always did really well in the qualifiers, but like after that, I was pretty middling usually. I wouldn't like,
and I mean,
I wouldn't like one, get like a 3rd here, get a 2nd there, but I mean, it never really like did much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you started the Brokety motors and rotors, and a lot of times it was because you would just get involved in stuff. It wouldn't be your fault, but you just get wrapped up in stuff.
Well, no,
and it's like, hey,
I'd be sitting towards the back, and a wreck would happen up in front of me, and I'd be like, well. I ain't much I can do about that.
It's like, yeah, how's that motor, Rope? It's brokety. It's a brokety motor. Yep. Yeah. We had a brokety motor. And, once it got to red, it wasn't going back green. That was it.
Yeah.
You got it to yellow.
Once you got like dark yellow, you were definitely not getting it back up.
Yeah. Were you around when, I don't know if you were racing this race, when Fracture did the Insta stop at Dover and took out the field?
Yes, I was there for that.
Were you at that? Oh gosh. It was like, it tore up everybody. Yeah, that was probably the biggest wreck I've ever been in KMR.
I'm trying to remember. I think there was one time where someone actually managed to like flip and cause like the game to throw up a red flag. Like one time.
I think it was Destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was Destroyer.
I think it was on Sonoma actually. Because that like jump or whatever that you can take and just like jump, but like that, like off that hill, you can jump that. I think he like did that on Sonoma and caused like a red flag. I'm pretty sure.
And I think it happened again. It happened one time at Martinsville, I believe. We were running and we had a red flag because I was surprised because cautions and stuff were off.
Yeah.
And it said, all right, red flag. I was like, red flag? What the heck is that?
Well, yeah.
You look back at destroyers on his lid.
Yeah, the
It's
only,
like, well.
the only like times like the game actually did anything for us was on like the very start, right? Wasn't it? Like we didn't have. Cause I'm pretty sure we had it for a time. We did have yellows. Then it's like, well, we kind of are having a yellow flag like every other lap, and the game is super unstable.
Yeah, every caution somebody would lag out.
Pretty much. Well, it would be like every like few like laps, or like every couple of cautions. Like there'd be that one person just always lag out.
Yeah. Oh man. I just if they fix that aspect of it, where people could actually stay in the race, long enough. Or how about in the lobby? How many races did you have to sit out because somebody in the lobby couldn't see you, so it would kick you out when the game would start loading in? Oh, that was some annoying stuff too.
Yeah, because from what I remember, it was like that game was just so unstable, like all the time. Like no matter what your internet connection was, no matter like what time of day you were playing, it's just like. Nah, the game just decides you're not playing tonight. I'm like, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
that? What was that rule that became of eventually for like people who were lagging? I'm trying to remember like how long we gave you before like it was like, well, sorry, bud, but you're done.
Yeah, so I think by the time right before we moved, we had got to the point where it's like, look, we're gonna try one time to fix this whole you can't see nobody thing. If you can't see them, we're gonna let NASCAR decide.
Yeah.
And so we just bring everybody in. And it's like if you lag out, NASCAR decided you ain't racing today. It's
Pretty
like,
much, yeah.
yeah. Oh man. All right. So let's move closer to the modern era here. The league travels to NHE, Xbox One, and the league also splits a little bit. So you have an X series, and then we have a Cup series. So take us through your comeback. You tried to make a comeback in the X series and KMR. Kind of take us through that.
Man, I don't
What was
really
that
remember
like
that.
for you?
I don't really remember that very well, if I'm being honest. Like I really only remember like I remember like most things like before the split, but I don't really remember anything after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the track we were at.
I mean, I always remember Pensacola always being a fun time for everybody.
Oh man, I don't even remember the track. I just remember I was in the lobby being the official, and I remember you were riding in the back. I believe you were in the 20 car.
Well, I remember like the car that I used. It was either the 42 or the 20s that I usually ran with.
I'm glad you said that. I can flip over to the 42. I couldn't remember what other car. I knew the
Because
20.
it was.
I couldn't
it was
remember
Tony
what other
Stewart
car you
and,
had.
Jimmy Johnson were the two cars that I usually raced with.
Okay, I was about to say there's still a 42, but anyway, yeah, you tried to make a comeback. Well, obviously you're not back, so it didn't work out. But let's just, well, how much you can remember compared to how much you remember back in the 14 and 15 compared to how much ever if a moment that you remember in the newer gen. How different was the league in that when you tried to come back compared to the 14? Yes, that was when we went to Heat.
Okay, yeah. Now I remember a little bit more. I just remember that game was like. I will say like one thing, like the game was kind of more stable. The cars looked kind of better, but like I don't know, like the fact that like I just remember because like the one of the, I feel like one of the main reasons we didn't play, I don't think you could turn flags off in that game.
Yeah, you could.
Or well, actually, I'm trying to remember because there was nothing but the flags. We couldn't like there just wasn't any period in multiplayer, or like you couldn't. It was something.
Yes, that's what it was. In multiplayer, there were no flags.
Yeah. So yeah, and the game still wasn't very stable. I remember that much. I also remember like the driving in that game was like way different. Like all of the setups and everything from 14. If you tried to use anything from 14, you were not gonna do well. Like all the strategies from 14 were just gone in 15 in Heat. That's just not. That's just the way it was.
Yeah, literally. I mean,
'Cause-
I found out that the setup for NHE was jack the right side tire all the way up as high as you can get it, and then that was it. And then lower the wedge, bottom the wedge out, and then that was it.
What was the reason we stopped playing on Heat anyway? Like, what was the main reason we stopped playing on Heat? I don't really even remember.
The game sucks.
Okay, yeah, it's true, but I mean, like, so we didn't go back to 14 though. Like, what was the reason we just didn't go back? Because like, 'cause I don't think the Forza like NASCAR like packs had come out yet.
So yeah, we didn't come back. The reason why is because the league was transitioning. The thing about it was we were trying to make the league grow. I ran a test season on Heat Evolution and Forza, and in the test season, I had 20 in the test season. So I was like, yeah, there's real growth here for KMR over here. We got to transition because 14 and 15 were pretty much dead. 14 was dead. 15 was dying. You were not going to get new people, a lot of new people coming in. And so the ability to have a large group, the upgraded graphics, the ability to broadcast the races, all of that was a plus.
I wouldn't say upgraded because the cars look better, but all the tracks look like absolute garbage in the Heat. When I remember.
Well, it was pretty bad. It was bad, but it was the ability to broadcast definitely gave a better, was definitely better PR for the league to help it grow a little bit because people would see what was going on. In 15, you couldn't really do that, and I got tired of staying up till 11:30 broadcasting races from my phone because trying to get them on YouTube. I mean, that was a bit rough. So
are you guys still like even racing these days anymore? Like I actually don't even know.
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, we're still racing.
We're
on Heat 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it just
we're definitely
Heat 4?
Still going.
If it's just Heat 4 that you're playing, because I remember like the main reason that I couldn't keep racing with you guys was because like 2 different games and I just couldn't afford Forza and the DLC. So if you're just playing Heat 4, I may actually be able to get back in. Is all I'm saying.
Well, Heat 4 dominates the series right now, and for the current future, there's going to be a very minimum amount of Forza races. We're going to transition to Forza 7, but next season there's only going to be one Forza 7 race, and it's going to be in the regular season. So someone who doesn't have Forza or who's not going to be able to get Forza, they don't have to worry about it drastically affecting their season. And it's gonna be like that for the rest of our time. We're not gonna have a situation where the Forza races dominate the schedule over the oval races. So, like this season that we're currently about to conclude, it's been all NASCAR Heat 4. Every track has been Heat 4. Next season, one Forza race. The season after that may incorporate 2, and then that's it. All of them are gonna be Heat.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd love to get back into it. Is all I'm saying.
Well, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you to later on, but real quick, and then we'll come back to that. I tell you what, you talk to me after this broadcast is over. I can tell you how to get back because we got 2 more races left. We're in the championship round, and then the season will be over, and you got about a month and a half to get everything together and be ready for the new start of the new season. But anyway, let's ask this question. You have some wins, but no championships. Who was your biggest competitor in your season's running?
Probably my teammate, Destroyer.
Yeah.
Like honestly, because I'll be honest, we weren't very good teammates. We never got together like practice tracks. We never did anything. We were just sort of like, yeah, we're
Destroyer. You're supposed to let me by. No, I don't want to.
Yeah, pretty much. He was like, we are on a team, quote unquote, but we were definitely not on the same side. Is all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, especially when he was taking you out all the time too. You
Yeah.
know, it was like
Like
I see you in the.
when I tried to work together with him, it usually ended my race. I was better off being an adversary with my teammate than actually attempting to work with him.
Oh man. All right, all right. So, do you think that was going to lend into my next question? Do you think that that was the biggest stopper for you winning a championship? What do you think kept you out of championship victory lane?
I mean, up until like that final season where like I actually did pretty well, I just don't think I was good enough if I'm being honest. Because like I'm most like, especially with the short tracks, I just except like Bristol, I guess maybe I was just like, 'cause, like I know like people, especially like White Hammer, were just they just knew setups way better than I ever did, and that was like the main reason because I just didn't know what setups to use on most tracks. So I guess you could say my
Yeah.
skill level was just not like, the same as like everyone else's for the most part.
Or what do you think you could have like? Do you think that hold on, I'm sorry because my son done messed up my TV. All right, great. So yeah. Do you think that there we go. Calm down, little man. Everyone hears you. Um, do you think if you had it set up and the right teammate, you could have then challenged myself, Hammer, Speedy, Destroyer?
I mean, I would probably be honest because who was your teammate, Cookie? Was it Fractured or was it Speedy? I'm trying to remember.
I had a lot of teammates. Fractured, couple seasons.
Dunker.
I
For
had
one.
Dunker and
I remember Dunker.
Yeah, Dunker and Ice were my teammates at one time. Hammer was my teammate one time. You know,
Rat
we just
Rod
kind
was
of
your teammate.
yeah. Rat Rod was man, I learned a lot from him. If I'm to be honest, but Rat Rod was my teammate at one time. Yeah.
Do you mean that you learned a lot, as in you actually learned a lot, or learned a lot as in, man, I really wish this guy wasn't on my team? Learned a lot.
No, I actually learned a lot because up until that point, you know, speed wise, people were starting to catch up to where I was. And so then races were more even and I needed that edge. And Rat Rod taught me how to save fuel. Like really save fuel. And at the same time keep my speed up. So once I mastered that,
I mean, I don't
okay.
know if like necessarily like I would have trusted him because we've already talking about how he could save fuel for years, but he never saved a win, did he?
Well, see, he lacked speed. And so I had speed, I just didn't have the edge of being able to save my resources. So the speed that I had couldn't compare to him. But when I learned how to save fuel and added it to the speed that I had, I could beat you either way. I could save fuel for a decade. And if I had a late race caution, I wasn't so slow that the race was pretty much over. I could hold my own.
Because even like I remember like even like when we had those late race cautions, he was always like, "Nah, man, I gotta save fuel." Like for what? There's like 3 laps of the race.
I gotta save fuel for my burnout. Like, bro, you're not gonna burn out today. Sorry. Oh man! After that season, though, he really spazzed out. Hey, bro, how many people do? How many other people do you remember? Tip Top Moon?
I remember him a little bit.
Cause you and him used to go at it too. I remember that. That would be funny listening to you guys going back and forth. Oh, do you remember Moose Tracks?
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he was pretty fast. Let's see who else.
I mean, like,
Do you remember Lawden?
Lawden, like Bacham, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. I remember that he was like Ice Spider in a way, where he talked a lot, and I'm pretty sure I wrecked him. But not as much on purpose as it was the Ice Spider. So I'm trying to remember, I don't think anyone really liked Ice Spider being around. So I mean,
I will say this though, Rope. He's much improved.
Who, Iceman?
Not the same ice. Yes, he is much improved.
Oh, I'm surprised
Not
that
the
you didn't
same
even like
ice
take him
fighter.
back. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he
People
didn't.
change.
Yeah, people change, and so
I want.
I
Does he still
I
remember
got
me?
stories
Is what
for
I
you.
guess what I really need to know.
Um,
Does he
I
remember
hope
that
not.
race? Yeah, I need to know if he remembers that race.
I hope not. Oh man, I have to ask him later on. Maybe he'll see this later on because he likes he does follow the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel. So maybe he'll see this
Actually, how many followers you
and
up to these days on the old Twitch and YouTube these days?
I think I'm 52 right now on the YouTube side, and I don't know exactly how many followers I have on Twitch yet. I haven't checked that in a little bit, but I'm getting ready to try broadcasting on the computer, so that I can go live stream on YouTube and everything on some things like this, the KMR exclusives and things like that. But anyway, let's see. Let's get the final question in. One of the final questions. How would you describe KMR overall?
I mean, it's just like a good community of people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, I don't like race. I don't really talk to many of the people. I guess out of you and Fractured, I guess these days. But like, I mean, I don't know. The people that like when we were in there, like some of those people were like some of the best friends I had at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, man. Hey, Fractured, you got any questions you want to throw out there before we end?
what was your favorite part? I believe you ran a NASCAR Heat Evolution race, right? Or you ran a couple? Did you?
Yeah, I read a few.
What was it that made NASCAR 14? Well, I don't know if you ran 15 or not, but what was it that made NASCAR 14 such a good game for the league, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, it's where we started out at. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's the game that brought us all together, I suppose, and it wasn't trash like NASCAR Heat was. That also helped quite a bit.
That's true.
Like, I don't know, if NASCAR 14, or not NASCAR 14, if NASCAR Heat was, I'll be honest, NASCAR Heat wasn't necessarily an amazing game, but it was definitely better than NASCAR Heat, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Like,
Any?
because
I'm sorry.
what it really comes down to, like NASCAR Heat did not improve on NASCAR 14 or any of the other ones. I feel like it was an active downgrade.
Yeah, I think everybody would agree with you on that one. Well, this
I remember. I'm sorry, Fractured.
you can go ahead.
Let me throw this in real quick, and then I'll let you answer the next question. But I remember how I felt when I got NASCAR Heat because
I was so excited
still
for
on
that
14. Me too.
Because like I'd
I'd already
seen
got
the trailers, I had seen the interviews and stuff, and I was like, man, this is shaping up to be an amazing game.
no.
No.
Sorry, I'm talking to my son, but I think that statement covers on both sides. No, it was not an amazing game. No, son, don't climb on the edge of the couch. Hey, we covered two birds with one stone. But I remember how I felt because I had been playing Forza and I had got the expansion pack. And I'm racing with these cars. I'm like, man, this is amazing. Xbox One, this is fresh. And NASCAR Heat's coming out, man. I can't wait. It's got all these features. You can race 40 cars in a lobby and all of this.
That was
going to
one
be
of
great.
The biggest points of that. We just gotta have a bunch of cars in the lobby, but too bad.
Yeah,
Actually, that's
bunch of
to be honest, that's
landmines.
probably the real reason they took out flags because they knew like, this game's just as unstable as the old game. We definitely can't keep flags in.
Yeah, it was bad. I remember playing it and my mouth gaped open. I couldn't close my mouth because I was sitting there like, I paid it when it first came out. It was $60.
Yeah, we all did. I think like, most of
like-
us like paid full price for that game.
It was rough.
I was like, are you serious? We are serious right now.
I
We're
want my money
serious.
back.
Yeah, it's like you're not
But-
Bethesda. You don't get away with this.
But I wrote something on my website about NASCAR Heat and how trash it was. And then I was in a public lobby one time with the son of the owner of the game.
Wait, really?
Yes, Dusenberry Martin's son was racing with us because they had made some updates and they wanted to see how it worked out. And so we got a chance to talk in detail about some of the things we would like to see in the next game, some of the things that we would like to do. As a matter of fact, Wes Quick was racing in there, and he actually got invited to Charlotte to test the next game that we're working on. So after that, I gained a little bit of respect for the owners of the game. The game was still trash, but
Yeah.
I gained some respect for the owners because at least they recognized it was trash and they wanted to upgrade it.
So
But I think it was a situation where they wanted to get the foot out.
I haven't played any of the newer games. So did
I will say NASCAR Heat 4 is a drastic improvement on Heat Evolution.
Not saying a lot though. It has.
I'm not saying that it is the best game ever, but I'm saying that you can feel a lot more of what the car does and doesn't do. It's not stupid as far as the setups generally, and the tracks are decently scanned, so you can see and feel the bumps in the tracks, and the draft is a lot better, and
there's
a lot of
really
improvements.
If all I want of a NASCAR game is just iRacing, but but on console, that's all I really.
Hashtag
really
coming
want.
soon.
I hope so. But that it's definitely raceable. As a matter of fact, I have three separate series on. I'm telling you, NASCAR Heat 2 was not raceable. We went back to NASCAR 15. Kid you not.
We
you're not
wrong
finished the
about
season on 15. So then we went to Heat 3. It was better. And then Heat 4
Did
was
they
like,
ever
okay,
add
yeah,
flags
we can
in?
work with this.
Yes. Okay. Even though I know we don't use them, so I'm just kind of curious.
There'll be some adjustments. The goal is, at least before we leave console, the goal is to have 40 people in the season for KMR, or as many as we can. So
you're leaving console, you're going to PC, I'm assuming?
Yeah, going to iRacing, but it's in the future. The light's at the end of the tunnel, but the league is still growing right now, so it wouldn't make sense to be like, oh guys, screw you, we're going to iRacing. We're gonna wait.
If you have enough people, I was gonna say you couldn't just run both. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I intend to keep the console going, but I won't be the primary on the console. My focus will be on PC, but I will keep managing the console for as long as it continues to grow. But I will say this: we ain't going to Heat 5. So,
why is that?
Because we're going to console. I mean, going to PC, so it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to try and spend money buying another game to have to turn around and spend a bunch of money to
those $60
get tracks
hurt.
and stuff.
Yeah, they hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you have to buy like all the tracks in iRacing?
Tracks, cars, and see, we're international league, so we're gonna try to take these cars everywhere if we can. So it's a lot of tracks, a lot of cars. Nah.
I still always remember, now thinking about it again, how much do you guys remember the road courses, Sonoma and Watkins Glen? How much do you guys remember?
I remember being 80 seconds behind.
Yep.
I remember getting beat by Lawden.
Yeah.
And Hammer.
No, that kid could actually race like road tracks, like really good somehow.
Couldn't race the ovals, but I'm telling you, them road tracks, boy, he had them down.
He must have been a Forza player before that or something.
Something like that. Something like that.
Because almost none of us could actually effectively race a road course.
Oh no, I got my fair share of Sonoma and especially Sonoma wins.
I can
now
win
I'll tell you
road
somebody
courses nowadays.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I'm gonna tell you somebody who couldn't though. Good Lord, Speedy.
Flappy.
Oh gosh, that is a DNF. That's every time we go, I just go ahead and mark DNF down on the paper. We're going at some point in the race. Like, I wish I was being funny, but I'm being legit. Like, even in the newer gen, when we would go to the on FM6 and we would go to Watkins Glen, like, we're not talking about Bathurst or Brands Hatch or some crazy, he would make it through Nürburgring. Like, the entire Nürburgring. We'd run the entire circuit. He would survive that race. We go to Watkins Glen, where we race all the time. We've raced it in 14, in 15.
We've raced it like 6 different
on
games.
Heat, and he would DNF, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, don't worry, I already got it marked down, Speedy. Just go ahead and go. Oh man, Frax, you got any more questions for Rope?
If you were to come back today, what would be the most exciting part of it? Or, who do you want to race the most now again on the new gen of the people that are still from back in the day?
Who from the old league is still in?
Myself, Cookie, Slappy was there this season, but he had some personal stuff. Or Speedy, I call him Slappy now, but... let's see here. Hammer was thinking about coming back, but you really at this point, Lauden's here too. Beloved.
Ice Fighter.
Honestly,
Dunker's coming
either
back.
probably
Dale Jr.
like Ice Fighter or Hammer, if I'm being honest. Just because Ice Fighter was funny, and I know that the Hammer was like really good, so.
And 4.
Just because it would be a meme to like race Ice Fighter again after all that I did to him.
I don't think
in
he'd
that
forget
qualifier.
Hey, Ice,
Well,
you know who I am?
Yeah, that qualifier was very interesting. But you'll be pleased to know, Rope, that the qualifier has changed a lot. The league has changed so much since
What's
the
different
last
with the
time you
qualifier
ran.
these days? I guess.
Well, the qualifier used to be a race for how many ever spots were open. So 6 spots generally for the Cup Series. We'd run 6 mini races to decide the 6 spots. You win, you're in. You lose, you go home. Well, that's all changed. Now it's 1 race, 16% with cautions on. Top 6 finishers move on. Everyone else goes to Daytona, where they have a chance to qualify for the 500 only. They get in the 500. You have what's called hot seats now. So they get in the 500, even though they didn't make it through the qualifier. They get in the 500, they're hot seats, and they have a chance to race their way into the season.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's still stressful, but it's just not stupid stressful where, you just have the big one in literally every race. People quit and then going to R Factor because they couldn't handle it, So yeah, it's a little bit different now. So, but yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you joining us and kind of reminiscing on everything old school and times we've had back in the day, and hopefully you'll be able to join us for next season and be able to race with us and battle once again in KMR. There are a lot of drivers you got to meet, and the talent is it's like the way to compare it is like what's going on now when people are in basketball where they're talking about the old Jordan Bulls. So it's like the Jordan Bulls kind of racing, and now it's like the Golden State Warriors kind of racing, when they had their group. So, I mean, that's kind of the comparison. It's still very difficult in the Cup Series, but new faces, some old faces, but new faces and a lot of good racing. So hopefully we'll have you back in and everything. But we appreciate you joining us, Rope. That was Superman Spheric Rope. It's been Fractured Chain with us, Fractured. Thank you also for joining us here and kind of helping us through this broadcast.
For the rerun of this broadcast, or if y'all want to come back and watch it, is on KMR TV 105 The Drive over there on the YouTube side. So that's where you'll find this. I'm sure you'll find it on 105 The Drive as well. So yeah, if you guys want to go watch the replays, that's what they are.
Definitely. Thank you very much. It's been Sam Cook, and so we end this interview. KMR signing out.
Here you go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back.